Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Home Solutions, your area's only local home and garden show. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Today, we're not only on Mix 104.1, but we're on ESPN 101.3, the newest addition to the lineup here, ESPN Radio back in Cleveland. So we're excited to have that switch here, excited to be on. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Dennis Purvis with you live in studio here at the Mix 104.1 studios. No matter how you're listening today, we just want to say thank you. We get feedback each and every week. We walk into emails and voicemails and everything from people that have listened and comments. Thank you. Maybe you're out running around today getting ready to do a little DIY project, or you're just getting your errands done, your honey-do list checked off. You're listening in the car, you're streaming online, or maybe you're listening through the Mix 104.1 app, or maybe you're watching on Facebook. Hi, guys. How's everyone doing up there? I'm excited about our guest today, but first, as always, we're brought to you by Pro 93 Home Solutions, your friendly local neighborhood general contractor for any of your home improvement needs, big or small, from small additions, renovations to your kitchens, your baths. Maybe you want to put in a mother-in-law suite. Maybe you're wanting to finish a basement, all the way up to, a standalone. Maybe you're doing a detached garage, or you're doing an addition to your home. Or you want a custom build. We would love to partner with you and your family. Whatever your dreams are, we want to be your partner through the process. So give us a call, 458-4135, or as always, go to pro93homesolutions.com. Click on that Contact Us tab. That'll get us directly to Jesse, myself, and Mark, our estimator, and we'll get you scheduled for an estimate. Now, don't forget, we also have the cleaning side. The clean team, Dalfina and her crew, are ready to go for you. That part has been growing substantially in the last few weeks and months, so we're excited to see that kind of take off. So please, same thing, 458-4135. Remember, we do residential, commercial cleaning. We can do one-time move-in, move-out. Maybe you just want a deep clean while the kids are home this summer. Maybe you want to set up a recurring service, weekly or biweekly or monthly, however that lines up for you. If you've got a commercial building, we come after hours, over the weekend, whatever's easier for you. And remember, we also offer green clean with our Melaleuca products. No ammonias, no chlorines, none of that clean smell if you've got folks that are sensitive to that, or have allergies or asthma and those kind of things affect them. That is at no additional charge. We have all the products, and we would be happy to give you a quote on that. Dalfino will come out, give you a free estimate, and we'll take it from there. So, one more time, that's 458-4135, Pro 93 Home Solutions. So there's my shameless plug for the day. Guys, I'm excited. Today we got something a little different. He's been here in the past. He was here last year. I'm excited to have him back here this year. I've got Rick Dye, who is from the Rhea Heritage Preservation Foundation.
Correct.
See, I got it. He's the president. And folks, here's what you need to know. Rick is the man and the driving force behind pretty much anything going in Dayton and Rhea County, just the neighboring county right over here across the river. But the big thing coming up is our Scopes Trial Play is coming up in 3 weeks?
That's right. July 12th, 13th, 19th, and 20th.
So we are excited to have that. And full disclosure, I'm a lot excited because this is my second year as part of the cast. Rick, how many years have you been doing the play now?
I have been doing it 31 years.
Holy cow. I didn't even know that.
And I started in 1993.
Yeah.
A small part playing Quinn Ryan, the WGN reporter.
Perfect for you.
Yes. And I actually played that up through 2007. And then I moved. I did play Arthur Garfield Hayes one year.
That's who I'm playing.
But yes, I moved to Darrow in 2009, and I've been playing Clarence Darrow since then.
So I know a lot of folks. Let's just start as if no one knows, because we were just talking the other evening with Dan Buck. A lot of you folks know Dan Buck. He had a long career at Lee University as theater director, the theater professor and director there. He's done a ton of local theater. A lot of you know him from What's Happening in Cleveland, from all kinds of different things, Mad Couch Drops, everything that they've done. But Dan's the director. He's been involved how many years now?
This is his, I'm going to lose count. I can't remember if it's his third or fourth year. He started in 22, So 23. So this would be the third year.
Yeah, there you go. So Dan Buck is directing, and he's, first of all, just a super fun to work with. And but this is
I'm going to plug. Dan has a unique background that really fit this project. Early in his career, he lived in Salem, Massachusetts.
That's true.
So he was involved in the reenactment of the Salem witch trials. And, of course, our play in the Scopes trial is based on the actual trial transcript. So most people that have heard of the Scopes trial, first think of and are most familiar with, where you were going,
monkeys.
The movie and the play, Inherit the Wind.
Yeah.
And very, very powerful play, very powerful movie, very powerful purpose, very powerful message. It is not historically accurate. The events that took place in Dayton were stretched, exaggerated, and darkened by Lawrence and Lee because they wanted to protest and demonstrate against Senator Joe McCarthy and his Red Scare hearings that were taking place in the 50s.
They had an agenda. It's one of those, when you see the based on a true story.
Yeah. In fact,
loosely based on a true story.
In fact, the screenwriter who wrote the movie script had been red listed, and Lawrence and Lee insisted that this particular individual do the screen play, and so he had to use a pseudonym. So when you see the credits, the screenwriter it's a pseudonym because of the red listing. So again, very powerful, but what actually happened, and most people think of the Scopes trial as creation versus evolution or science versus religion. Yes, to a degree. But the core arguments that took place in 25 in that courtroom, we're still having today. What are the rights and what is the role of parents in public education? What is their position? What about freedom of speech? What about academic freedom?
Who gets to dictate what our kids are taught? We, in the transcript and in the play we do, you hear the term police power a lot, and whether it was within the police power of the state to be able to prescribe such a thing. So, and folks, we just saw that this week in Louisiana.
Correct.
They just said that the legislature says that they have to have the 10 Commandments in every public school classroom.
That's correct.
So we're still fighting. I mean, next year will be 100 years. We're at 99 years since the Scopes trial.
Yes.
And we're still fighting the same core argument right now in our country today.
And that's what makes it relevant, and that's what keeps it interesting and keeps folks coming back. We're excited. Last year we did 3 productions. We sold out all 3 shows. First, we've been doing this since 1988. First time in the history that we had no tickets available at the door. We're excited this year. The Saturday, July 13th, 2 o'clock performance, matinee performance, has been sold out now for a little over a week. So we sold out some 6 weeks early for that show. The other shows, we still have 4 shows. We're doing 5 productions this year. So we have July 12th, 13th, and 19th, 7 p.m. performances. And they are filling up fast.
And if you need tickets, you need to go to Rhea, that's R-H-E-A, RheaHeritage.com. Go right there, accept the cookies, and then purchase tickets. It's right there. You can do it from your mobile device. They've got a mobile site as well as the desktop. Folks, go there today, get it signed up. And we're going to talk about some of the kind of cool things that are different this year, but let's go back to the...
Let me get the last... the final performance this year we're most excited about. It's the July 20th, this 2 o'clock Saturday matinee. This is our first year doing this, and part of our plan to get ready for next year for the centennial, the 100th anniversary. This year's final performance will feature dinner with the cast. Attendees will go to the 2 o'clock performance, which will end shortly after 4. Then we'll reconvene, as they did in 1925, on the courthouse lawn, on the north side, under the shade of the giant oak trees, in a tented, we will have fans blowing air, but you will have a seated dinner with the cast. It will be served by the great-granddaughter of Orrin Wooten, who was selling his goods on the courthouse lawn in 1925. We got a special classic menu lined up. You'll get to enjoy the Scenic City Jazz Band. A 15-piece jazz band will entertain us. And you will get to ask guests about their character and other interesting history and trivia about the things that took place in Dayton in 1925, where for 11 days, to steal a line from the original Top Gun, we were on the front page of every English-speaking newspaper in the world.
Yep. And I think that's one of the most riveting things about not just being a part for myself, but folks that have come to see it. What's special about this, folks, and just to make sure, this was the first, it was the first legitimate trial of the century. And I know that's been thrown around a lot. I know Darrow was a part of Leopold and Loeb, which was right before this. But what made this so special for us locally, it happened in Dayton. And I think once you see it and understand that it happened by design in Dayton, and number two, we're going to be doing this play and this reenactment in the courtroom where it actually happened.
You will be sitting in the seats the people sat in 1925, and you will be hearing 90% of the play. The dialogue you will hear is straight from the trial transcript. So you're going to hear the actual words of Darrow and Brian in the actual courtroom.
And you hear history come to life a lot, but folks, this is legitimately what it is. It's an opportunity to have folks that are passionate about preserving that heritage. But I think the other thing is telling this story, because, again, so many folks, I was going to say this earlier, so Dan was talking to us the other day that there are some people that are actually discouraged when they find out that there are no monkeys in the play. Because, you go around Dayton, there's Monkey Town this and Monkey this. There's a new networking group opening it up there in town for BNI that's called Monkey Business. There's Monkey Town Brewing right over there, a few blocks down from the courthouse. So it's, it became known as the Monkey Trial, but the reason it was the trial of the century and the first one of its kind is it was the first one that was broadcast nationally. Talk a little bit about, you're an old radio guy. We're on the radio here. Talk a little bit about what it meant to have WGN there.
The first commercial radio broadcast was in 1920. KDKA out of Pittsburgh, which is still on the air today. The reason that's what it is called that is they were paid to broadcast the results from the McKinley election. So that was the first paid radio broadcast. So radio was only 5 years old as a commercial product in 1925. WGN, their call letters, they were owned by the Chicago Tribune, world's greatest newspaper, so that's where the WGN comes from. They paid $1,000 a day to rent the AT&T lines from Dayton to Chicago to be able to broadcast the trial. First trial broadcast over radio. It was also the first trial to be put on newsreels, and that was the first presence of an airport in Dayton. They put in a landing strip to fly those newsreels out each day. So, and what makes this so powerful is it was not a murder. It was not a kidnapping. This was a misdemeanor.
Yeah. And what's funny, and I don't want to give a spoiler, but even we have no evidence that the fine that was levied was ever paid.
No, we actually have evidence that it was never paid.
It was never paid. Yeah. So there you go. Hey, listen, we've got to take a quick break, folks. Hang in there. Remember, if you like what you're hearing, go right now, RheaHeritage.com. That's RHEA, Ray County. So RheaHeritage.com. Get your tickets. We come back. Folks, we could talk with Rick here. We could talk for 3 hours about this. We're going to give you all the reasons why you need to come out and check it out here in just a few weeks. You're listening to Home Solutions right here on Mix 1041 and ESPN 101.
Are you tired of going to YouTube or Google for answers to your home improvement questions? Maybe you have more projects than you have time. No matter where you are in the process, Pro 93 Home Solutions is ready to serve you. Pro 93 is a local, veteran-owned company offering residential and commercial remodeling, cleaning, and security. Contact us today at 458-4135 or online at pro93homesolutions.com. Let the pros at Pro 93 find the solution for your home or business. That's 458-4135.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Saturday. Home Solutions here. Dennis Purvis with you, with Rick Dye, president of the Rhea Heritage Preservation Foundation. But more importantly, we're here to talk about the Scopes Trial Play that is coming here in just a few weeks, July 12th, 13th, 19th, and 20th. Did I get those dates right?
You did.
I did. Nailed it. So, folks, we were talking just beforehand. We got lots we want to kind of squeeze in here before the top of the hour. First thing we were to talk about is, we finished up talking about WGN and how this was going out over the radio. And this is back when, all those stations you talked about, KDKA and WGN, WLW out of Cincinnati, these were all the super stations. These were all that, still to this day, on a clear night, I can listen to the Reds game out of Cincinnati with WLW, and you can get that all the way to Florida some nights. Because this was before they limited how powerful these radio broadcasts could be. So these old stations that are kind of grandfathered in still have this massive reach. So you had everyone listening to this. And folks, just imagine this, and when you see the courtroom, you'll understand when you come to the show. For sound mixing and capture, it is a nightmare. It is huge ceilings. It echoes like crazy. You hear every footstep, every chair creak. But they were literally pioneering this on-site broadcast. They were figuring it out as they gone, right?
Absolutely. This was the first time they'd ever had 4 microphones in the same room. So anybody that's ever been in this knows the term feedback. And so, yes, it was a nightmare getting everything adjusted because, again, this was all new technology.
And keep in mind that it was so hot in here. This was pre-air conditioning, folks. And just so you know, let's make sure we plug this. There is air conditioning now. It'll be realistic that you're in this courtroom, but I guess you guys tried it without air conditioning once, right?
Actually, the first production, way back in 1988, the playwright who wrote Destiny in Dayton wanted it authentic as could be. So he got them to shut down the air conditioning, and they literally opened the windows. And by intermission, the cast and the audience were feeling authentic.
Yeah, they all needed IVs, I bet.
Yes.
Yeah, some of us are a little too old for that experiment now, Rick. I'm a man of a certain age now. I don't want to play that game. But so yes, you will be in the courtroom. Yes, you will be in the actual seats. Some of the actual furniture, some of the actual trim, the windows, stuff that they saw if you look back in the pictures right now at RheaHeritage.com, or you go even do a Google search, you will be in that courtroom watching the play. But you will have air conditioning, so that's good. I will say this, though. If you are looking for an opportunity to bring your kids, bring your families, this isn't just, the play is just part of a lot of what they're doing. And talk about what's going to happen that first weekend with what you guys are going to do.
We are extremely excited. By going to 2 weekends, we are able to take the first weekend, July 12th and 13th, and focus on family-friendly events. We realize that today's world, again, we're in an election cycle. Economy's supposed to be at the top of the list. So if you're sitting there as a family and you've got 3 or more children, there's not a lot of things you can do. Well, we're going to give you a day, hopefully a day and a half, where you're not going to have to spend anything. We said Monkey Town, we're going to have Monkey Town inflatables.
Yep.
They will be free. We have a petting zoo. We have mobile action with their foam axes and bow and arrows. Then we will have real bow and arrows and BB guns with the 4-H and UT Extension. They'll be having training and grooming people for competition. We're going to have a cornhole competition. We'll have several demonstrators that the kids may or may not be interested in, but the parents will be. We'll have some fossil digging.
And let me just stop right there. I will tell you right now, from somebody that has kids, the fossil dig was a hit last year.
It's a big hit every time we do it.
It is a fantastic, because what little kid doesn't like getting in and digging for dinosaur bones? It was packed. That and the petting zoo, you couldn't get around. And we had threat of rain like last year, and still people were out there taking part.
Well, we've got something added this year. We're going to fill up 2nd Avenue with a car club of vintage cars. Their name escapes me. It's like anyway, everything will be from 1914 or earlier.
Oh my gosh.
So these are very vintage classic cars. The Horseless Carriage Group, I believe, is the name of it.
Jeez.
So forgive me, folks, if I got that wrong. I hope I'll get it right next time. But we're excited about that because that's a new addition. The Monkey Town Inflatables is a new addition. They were at the Strawberry Festival earlier in May. They were a big hit there, so we expect them to be a big hit here. And again, this time it's free of charge. Everything we're setting up is free of charge. We will be having some hot dogs, Cokes, and Coca-Cola, and Mayfield ice cream. We will be collecting donations for that, but again, nothing has a price on it. That should be primarily Saturday from about 11 to 4.
You've also got some, you got entertainment again this year, some musicians. I know we've got the jazz band the following week.
No, we have some entertainment opening during the performances.
Right. Yeah.
But no real, we don't really have any entertainment booked out like we did last year where we had the street festival.
Gotcha.
We're taking everything. Last year we stretched it out down Market Street, and that worked okay. But this year we're bringing it back and trying to stay around the courthouse square. We're going to be promoting, one of the things we will be promoting heavily is both walking tours along the historic landmarks related to the trial, but we will have the Black Oak Carriage Company will be offering carriage rides, and you can book that online. We have a link on the website, so if you want to book a very nice carriage ride tour through the historic district of Dayton and the sites, and see where where Brian gave his last speech, the home he passed away in, etc. It's a very nice tour. They give you the historical guidance of it. So
again, that's at Rhea Heritage, RHEA heritage.com. You can go there to get information on everything you're hearing about today. So that's the first 12th and 13th. So there's 3 shows that weekend. There's Friday night at 7, Saturday at 7, but the Saturday matinee at 2 is already sold out.
That's correct.
So folks, go ahead, get your tickets now for either that first Friday or Saturday, because the next week on the 19th and 20th, you've got Friday night the 19th at 7 o'clock still available, and then the 2 o'clock show. And I know we plugged this a little earlier, but let's talk about this again, about why this is, and I think especially getting ready for the centennial next year and for all the pomp and circumstance that will happen with that. I think this is a good test run for this.
We thought carefully, and we've laid the footprint for what will be 2025.
So on Saturday at 2, on the 20th, will be the final performance. It's a matinee, but folks, and if you go online to rayheritage.com, you can see the ticket prices are more for that show, and the reason is you get the opportunity afterwards to have a fully catered meal outside. We're going to watch the play, go outside to a tent. The cast members are all going to be there. You're going to be able to interact with us, talk to us about our characters, about the tidbits. And folks, let me just tell you, the folks that do this are, I'm a history nerd. I'm not going to lie. Love this kind of stuff. I've learned more about Arthur Hayes than I ever thought. I didn't know he existed before 13 months ago.
Named after 3 presidents.
Yes. And, he's one of the founders of the ACLU. He's coming down here from New York. And if you'll notice, if you watch the play, you'll see, listen, I'm a displaced Yankee, so I understand his plight, because I am overlooked and the judge does not want to talk to me ever, because I'm a carpetbagger that's come down from the north trying to mess up what they've got down here. So, and I'm by all means a rookie when it comes to the information and when you talk to Rick and you talk to some of these guys there's guys in the play that have been doing it again 20 years.
Tony McHouston, who is coming back in his original role of A.T. Stewart.
Yeah.
He played Stewart in 1988.
Which was the Attorney General for the prosecution.
That's correct. And then he moved over to Clarence Darrow, and he played Darrow from 89 until 2007.
So you're seeing folks that have put a lot of years into this. They have a lot of information. And if you can't tell with Rick, listen, this guy is a treasure trove of information about this, because they are really fighting to keep this alive. And I think it's, I know last year I could just see it on your face to watch the culmination of 3 sellouts, to know that it hadn't happened before, to know what folks in town, because, it doesn't matter how pure your heart is, your motivations are, especially in a small town, somebody's going to hate on it. Somebody's going to find a reason to not want to do it. Or wow, what are we wasting time for? But from the museum that's there in the bottom of the courthouse to all the landmarks and all the signage and all the tours, the walking tours. Now, I didn't even know about the carriage tours. That's something I want to do. You know, the stuff that you guys have kind of molded and slowly grown up, and to finally see it started to just flourish. And folks, understand that last year, I think we had as many people from out of state, not just out of Dayton or out of county. We had people driving in. There was people I met last year from Chicago, Florida, Texas,
Pennsylvania, New York. We had 11 states represented last year,
folks,
outside of Tennessee.
Some massive driving was done because they wanted to experience it. And again, what makes it so special is it's in the place where it happened.
This is a special courtroom. It was built in 1891. It was a fully functioning courthouse right up until 2020 when we built the new Justice Center. So we always did this production around a functioning courthouse and a court schedule. But this was the Ray County Courthouse. That courtroom was the largest courtroom in the state of Tennessee the entire existence, right until they moved. It was the largest courtroom that Darrell had ever practiced in. He was amazed at the size of the courtroom. So this is an awesome structure. It's an awesome feeling. And one of the things that we always like to talk about is for 11 days, 8 days in court, these people argued their position, their side, with all the passion they could muster. But at 4 o'clock, when they left that courthouse and they left that courtroom, they were civil. They had dinner together. There was nobody running up down the street burning torches. They were respectful to one another. As I said, there weren't a whole lot of places to go eat, so you were going to go congregate together. And in fact, one of the stories I always like to tell is Clarence Darrow and Ben McKenzie, a local attorney in Dayton and a member of the prosecution, met for the first time during the trial. They became friends and remained friends for the remainder of their life.
They go fishing together, didn't they?
They would go fishing together. Darrell came back to Dayton to go fish the Hiwassee Refuge with McKenzie. McKenzie took his family and visited the Darrows on more than one occasion in Chicago. Even though they were on the opposite sides and they were very firm in their positions, they rose above that and remained friends, very close friends, all of those years. In fact, to seal the friendship, McKenzie's office was just across the street from the courthouse. So each evening, McKenzie and Darrell would walk across to McKenzie's office where he would have a bottle of London Dry gin driven in by taxi so the gentleman could enjoy a drink at the height of Prohibition.
That's getting it done right there. That's dedication. That's dedication to making sure your friendship lasts, I guess. And folks, you hear these stories, and after the trial, Darrell didn't know Scopes from Adam, but Scopes afterwards lived with when he was at University of Chicago.
That's correct.
With the Darrows for a while.
That's correct. He was offered his job back, but he declined. He felt the publicity would hinder the students. So the expert witnesses were all geologists. They took up a fund for him. He moved to Chicago, enrolled in a graduate program in geology, and ended up spending the rest of his career working in the oil and gas industry.
And listen, and it was funny how it all, even before this, they see that William Jennings Bryan and Darrell were these bitter rivals. And yeah, there was definitely rivalry between them. But folks, what you saw here was a respect. Darrell actually had campaigned for Bryan beforehand. But I think we talked about the things that are greater than what it was then. Not only is what's at the core of that trial still evident, we could sure use some of that civility today.
That's what's lacking today. Yeah. People have the same passions today about their position. Unfortunately, they can't seem to put it away at 4 o'clock and be civil.
Folks, if you want to see an example of how this all played out, make sure you make plans now. The weekends of July 12th and 13th, and then 19th and 20th. Go to rayheritage.com, RHEA heritage.com. Get your tickets. Make your plans. Come see us. We would love to see you. Rick, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We'll see you guys soon. Remember, go home, love on your family, love on your neighbor, and remember, we're all in this together. You've been listening to Home Solutions right here on Mix 104.1 and ESPN 101.3.